Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's gonna be a model that has very thin eyebrows. Well, she's not gonna have thin eyebrows in the end because I think I wanted to do this video because I think a lot of people tend to do this. This client, when she came in, she already had her eyebrows filled in. Of course, I took it off and shaped her eyebrows a little bit, but I thought this was a really good video to point out because she filled her eyebrows in a little too thin, thinner than she needed to actually. And her eyebrows were naturally a little bit fuller than she filled them in. So I thought this was a really good tip to show you guys if you haven't realized how thin you go and you're like, wait a minute, I can go a little fuller. So this is just a really good video to show you how fuller you can go without looking too overly drawn, right? And I'm going to use a pencil because it's a little bit easier to control and to use. But I always use myself as a model, as you can see. And on the videos, I tend to put concealer on, or I do. And, you know, my brows end up looking a little different and off than the model, but that's why I want you to focus on the model. But I want you to focus on me and how I hold the tools and how I hold the pencil. This video is going to be a really good tip. And these are just tips. Try it out if you're not happy with the way you're holding the pencil. Okay, so these are just some great tips in that. I've been shaping eyebrows for almost 25 years at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. I still shape brows there. So please come by, get your brows shaped, and you'll get some tips along the way. So definitely stop by if you can. And some of you have, so it's been a pleasure meeting you. So yeah, I have been, the brows have been my world for, gosh, it's going to be almost 30 years. I can't believe I am aging myself that much, but that's okay. That's okay. We are all just getting older, but hopefully wiser, right? So stick with me in this video. And again, I hope you get some tips along the way. And yeah, without further ado, let's bring this model on. So she's got very thin eyebrows, but does she really? Like I said, she filled in her eyebrows just this way. She came in this way, and I think a lot of us tend to fill in the eyebrows a little bit too thin, thinner than you need to. And as you can see, the front part of the eyebrow is much darker than the rest of the eyebrows. So you're going to see in just a second how you can just work with this and build on it. So if you fill them in this way and you remember me telling you not to, don't have to feel like you got to take it all off. Okay. So let me show you how it can look by just going around the eyebrows. I'm using just a powder and brush just to show you the shape that I will, the arch could be a little bit higher here, but how much thicker or fuller, should I say, it can be with just this, outline going around the eyebrows. Now, if you fill them in kind of thin like that, don't feel like you have to take it all off. Make sure you go over it with a spoolie. Now, like I said, my brows are tattooed, and so this side has a little bit of makeup. This one does not. It's just an old tattoo. So I'm just going to want you to see how I'm holding the pencil, and I'm going to use a brow definer to fill in the whole eyebrows with this. So you're going to see why I've chosen the definer, which is that wide tip angle brush where it's flat and then sharp on, and if you turn it this way. Okay, so, and again, the shape is much fuller than what it was initially, right? And by going just around the eyebrows, very important. So here you're gonna see, this is what I wanted to show you earlier. Again, this is how the brows looked, right, when you first saw it. And this is how I think the client filled them in, right? So what you can do, again, like I said to you earlier or showed you earlier, is to just spoolie the inside of that eyebrow, and then it just kind of spreads that color around. She might have not even done that, which is why the front was a little bit darker. And it was right in the middle. You notice that it's like I filled them in the middle of the eyebrow, so that's why it just kind of made the brows look a little thinner. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but the brows have been shaped. I waxed off all the little fuzz around the eyebrows, which is why it just looks a little bit more shapely. Like you're like thinking, wait a minute, it actually looks a little better than before. That's because when you wax the fuzz off, it really does help shape the brows even that much further. Okay, so anyway, yeah, so this is something that I don't want you to feel like I did this. What do I do? I don't want you to have to start all over again. I just want you to spoolie that that excess pencil up at the front, and we're going to build around the eyebrows. So, but I do tell clients, if you're so used to doing that, that's okay. Keep doing that inside. And then what you're going to do is go around that inside of that first fill in. So, which is why I'm going to show you, this is how I just decided to do her eyebrows this way so that I can show you that you don't have to start all over. You can just go around. So if there's anything that you would always forget in my tips, always remember to go around. Just remember, that's the biggest tip I always have for everybody, is go around the eyebrows. So you notice that I just spoolied that inside. And you also notice that just even spooling the inside of that filled in pencil, it actually looks like it's a little fuller because the color just got spread more out throughout her eyebrows. And I don't know if you notice this, but her brows look a little fuller, right? And you can actually see the hairs a little better. And the front isn't so much darker than the rest of the eyebrows. That's the other thing I want you to see in this, is that when you first put pencil, we tend to do it right up in the front, then you work the rest of the way around. Again, that's okay, but just always remember that the first time you touch your eyebrows, that's usually the heaviest pressure. So try to get in the habit of maybe starting here or at the end and then work your way up in the front. But if you still forget and you go right up in the front, just remember, once you start doing this and you're like, oh yeah, and then start pressing lighter and lighter, and then just spoolie it. So that way you're, really softening that up. So you notice at the front, that's why I'm using the definer. I'm going behind her eyebrow, so that's why I'm laying the pencil. But I also want you to do this on yourself. That's why I like that flat end of the brow definer. Again, the pencil is a lot easier in control, so that's why I like the pencil, especially if you're learning. So hold up the pencil upside down or over your eyebrows. So I'm resting right here, and it's like a windshield wiper, really. And the flat end of the pencil is just over the eyebrows, and now it's underneath that first initial middle pencil, right? So say that you penciled in the middle, you're going underneath that middle area, and then you're just gliding the pencil back and forth. You notice this? I'm just going, now the reason why I'm doing this as opposed to here, I find that it's a little bit heavier pressure. Once you get in the hang of doing this, you might like it. Okay, so I'm going back and forth and just following the middle part of that eyebrow, but underneath. So I'm following, meaning the same direction of the shape. I'm just going underneath. I'm not creating a new shape. If you like your shape is just thin, you're just going around that same exact shape. So going underneath. Now, here's why I like this definer. Now I'm going the top part of the eyebrows. If you guys don't know this by now, you know that I always do the top in the middle. I always tell people, don't forget the top, because it raises the eyebrows. It makes the brows look fuller. And keep in mind, you have hair up here, it just grows down. So you almost like cheat yourself in making the brows a little too thin by just focusing the inside of the eyebrows. So again, you say that you did that middle part, then you go above that middle part, like I showed you on the model. Notice that the pencil is laying down now. And I show you guys this all the time. Lay it down. Don't hold it like this. If you lay it down, again, it's less pressure. And you're just lightly grazing. I'm barely touching my eyebrows. So try to do that. Barely touch your eyebrows. I'm using a ebony pencil. I can also use ash brown, but on her, I'm using the medium brown, which is almost universal. Almost anyone can use that color. So it's a very universal shade. So and the reason why I'm going darker on me is that one, my tattoo is kind of dark, and number two, I just want you to see the color. But so again, I'm resting the pencil down and I'm going above. Okay, so here, very important. I'm using the spoolie because the spoolie really does help soften. So I'm scratching. You guys notice that I don't do one continual line. I'm just going back and forth, and then I spoolie. I go back and forth, and then I spoolie. So that way you're controlling the depth of the eyebrows. You're not making it too dark. Sometimes, again, we tend to go a little darker, but that's where the spoolie comes in really. But right here, as you can see on her eyebrows, I went a little heavier and darker. When I say heavier, I mean heavier pressure. Okay, so right here towards the end, you can apply a heavier pressure. And over here, I would like to kind of sometimes hold the definer this way just to get that area right here to stay sharp. If I do this, it might be a little too wide. So try holding different areas and see what's easiest for you. But just, or maybe this way. But again, try both sides. And then right here, that's where I apply the heavier pressure. Up here again, it's just wider and laying down. Now I'm using the highlighter, because highlighters are always important because it really does help show off the eyebrows, I think. If you go below, it makes the brows pop. I'm not going to blend it too much so you can see that difference. It also makes it look polished. Very important. And you notice that I put a little bit on the top. I'm not going to do that much on myself because my skin's really dark. But you get the idea. If you really want to show off your eyebrows, you can go right over the eyebrows, especially if you have her skin tone. That's also very important. Now, up in the front, you could either lay the pencil down or you can do this, which is why I love that definer, because it's got that wide and sharp angle. So right here, I'm always going these little curved circles. I don't go straight because I don't like it too square up in the front. So I always go curved, and then just notice I'm just laying the pencil. Just really makes it easy. Okay, so the clear brow gel really brings the hair to life, and look at that before and after. I'm going to really clean up my eyebrows a bit more, but that before and after, how beautiful is that? Really nice, right? I mean, you can see, obviously, the after being much fuller than the top brow. And I mean, she had a lot of unnecessary hair down below. Of course, we waxed that off, but you really can see that she does have hair in and around the area where she filled it in. So again, if you look at the before and look at the inside of that eyebrow, you can see all the hairs above and below, right? So keep that in mind for you. You might have a little bit more hair around the eyebrows that you didn't catch with the pencil. So, and that might just help you to get it fuller, right? So try that technique out. Again, I love this before and after. So I hope you love the before and afters as much as I love them. So I hope this tip worked out for you. Please share this with anyone you know thin eyebrows and they want to make them fuller. So this is definitely a great video for those of you that tend to fill in the eyebrows that way and you want to try a different way. This is the video for you, right? And so thank you so much for subscribing. Please do so if you haven't already. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the comments. Please leave them and I will try to get to as many as I can. I apologize if I don't get to all of them, because I know that there's a lot of really good questions out there and you really need that that personal type of answers. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you guys right back here.